Before we begin our podcast, we'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land we're recording on. For Cass, it's the Borragagal people, and for Hailey, it's the Dharawal people.
After 10,000 years, I'm free. It's time to conquer Earth. Hi there, this is not Jennifer Coolidge, and that was my audition for Rita Repulsa in the new Power Rangers Gay Force. It's all full of homosexuals. Anyways, I'm not sure if I can talk about that. So in the meantime, listen to Drag Me Out Official and talk about that with your friends.
This video is not sponsored by Jennifer Coolidge or Power Rangers, but supported by a flaming Midwestern homosexual with nothing better to do at this time.
And listen to the podcast, dumbass.
Now, a quick word from our unsponsored sponsors.
Do you want to go to sleep with a different celebrity every night? Do you ever think of smothering someone, but your pillow is too basic? Then we have the perfect pillowcases for you. Hero Huggers by Rennie. Hero Huggers by Rennie encourages testing on animals. According to the scientists at Drag Me Out University, they have proven results that people who purchase Hero Huggers by Rennie improve their sleep by 83.768%. Phones are ringing off the hook with orders, so get yours now. Or alternatively, go to Hero Huggers by Rennie on Etsy. Sleep soundly knowing your heroes are right next to you. Hero Huggers by Rennie, where heroes lie. No animals were harmed during the making of this commercial. No one at Drag Me Out Official has a science degree, but they have watched things about Scientology. No research has been done to support these statistics except our own biased opinion. Pillow not included.
So how's your Drag Expo experience? Obviously, we're talking to Beverly Kills. If you don't know that, then you shouldn't be watching this channel.
I almost called myself RuPaul, but apparently that name's taken, so awkward.
How is it? How are you finding it?
So good. It's like everyone went to the Imperial last night. Not me, I slept. But like everyone is like kind of on this like crazy high of drag.
Yeah.
And like someone told me this morning, they're like, it's like a live episode of Drag Race. And I was like, no, it's not. And the more I thought about it, I'm like, oh my God. And then like hearing that made me sort of realize how exciting it is for so many people. Because to me, I'm like, oh, it's just another gig. Put my shoes on, put my wig on, and like go to work.
Yeah.
But people like so excited, and like that's why I do drag, because like the feeling that I give people, whether I realize it or not, that is what keeps me going. So coming to these events, and these events are great because they're like so much more accessible and family friendly than like a nightclub booking might be. So you get to see so many people you've never met before, or so many people that haven't even seen drag before. Yeah. And it's like just as exciting for them as it is for me. So I'm having a great Drag Expo.
So we started this podcast because we love drag queens, and there was, when we went to the Melbourne one, which we met you at, we thought there's just not enough exposure. Like you have the RuPaul girls, but then the local ones you just don't see. So we have them on our show all the time, like Ivana Fab and Ego and Shazza Stone. They come on our show. We just talk to them about real issues, funny issues, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I grab you while you weren't busy and come over.
I love talking shit, of course. Yes. I look sorry. I just like didn't realize I was going to look this good today. So I'm really just pleased with life at the moment.
I saw you running this morning on your Insta.
Yes,
yeah.
I like the Sydney Marathon or the bridge to whatever it is. And I was like, I just saw people running and I was like, I have to do a TikTok. Because yesterday I was so like overwhelmed. I didn't post anything on social media until this morning. And I don't know. I always see people like the queens of like Art Simone is so good at social media. And then I see what Art Simone does. I'm like, I've got to be more like that. So like, and Art was like, she was on it yesterday. So my thing today, I was like, think like Art Simone, because she is a smart fucking queen. So I was like, I saw things and I was like, I want to get the video of that. And they loved it. So I was like, cool, fine.
I suck at social media too. We're just learning it.
I naturally, my resting state is sucking.
Yeah.
So I have to like, think about it, put effort into it, and really like consciously be like, all right, today we're doing social media.
Yeah, it's just too much.
Yeah, it is too much. I just would rather just like be in the moment and like not think about it. Because yesterday on my panel for TikTok, I kind of played devil's advocate. Like it was meant to be like a panel to like promote TikTok. And then they were like, Bev, like, what's your biggest advice for new creators? And I was like, don't do it if you don't want to.
Yeah.
And I could feel a couple of people were like, why would she say that? And I was like, if you're like forcing yourself to like be like a content creator or like a queen that's like always on social media and you hate it, you're gonna hate what you're doing.
It's a full-time job.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was kind of like, oh my God, like if I'm doing drag and like hating it because I'm feeling I need to do TikTok or like Instagram, I just won't think about it that day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So only do it because you like it. That goes with drag as well.
Now,
If you're not enjoying drag,
of course,
stop.
it's too expensive to not enjoy.
I'm sick of drag queens like complaining about doing drag, and I'm like, and quit. Because I love it. So I'm like,
You look like
don't bring, yeah, I do. Don't bring down my vibes. I'm having fun. So
Are you going to be at Melbourne Drag Expo?
no, I'm sorry. And the reason for that is because I'm doing another gig, but I am announcing something what month is it? May. Date, 21st. I'm announcing something at the very start of next month regarding Melbourne. So, and it's big. So it'll be fun.
Fancy.
If you liked my one woman show, okay.
I
If you liked my solo show,
can edit that out.
okay, don't keep it in natural. We're so crazy here. If you like my solo show, which did sell out, you might be lucky if you live in Melbourne, Sydney, or the Gold Coast. So
Perfect. Thank you so much for coming over. I really appreciate it. We love what you do. And have fun.
I will. That was for you.
Welcome to Drag Me Out. This is a very special Barbie edition because I like Barbie. I've not watched any of the previews or I watched the short trailer that got released, but I haven't watched anything else. So I don't even know what it's about except for Barbie. I'm constipated, and you are?
Looking like fairy floss.
There we go.
I'm fairy floss Barbie. I'm lesbian Barbie.
Lebanese Barbie.
I'm homosexual Barbie. And welcome to Drag Me Out. So are we going right into the week or are we going into musings? What do you want to do?
Did musings. I only did a few. I don't have much about my week because I don't really want to talk about it. So I'll just do my musings this week.
Okay, but before you do,
Yep.
I would just like to say to one of our special listeners, Jack, just get your internet together and you can come on the pod next week. Because Jack just sent a message going, was so excited to be on the potty.
I know.
We love you, Jacques. Just Jack. So what did we decide? Your musings or the week?
Gonna do the musings.
Let's do the musings.
So, learnt a few new things. Learnt more things to piss my husband off. So, did you know, if sound traveled through space, the sun would be extremely annoying. Like, it would sound like 10,000 Earths covered in police sirens all screaming. Did you know that?
I did not.
Fun facts. That's what I learnt this week.
Wow. The more you know. And big shooting star.
What I also learnt this week was apparently common knowledge, but I never knew this. So, you know how like you got streets and roads and places and avenues and crescents?
Mhm.
Apparently they stand for things.
Mhm.
I didn't know that. Because when my husband and I were looking at houses, he said, oh, this is I still don't know, a place, like
Mhm.
something place. And he's like, that means there's no through road.
Mhm.
And I was like, I didn't know that. How you know that? He's like, because it's got place on the end of it. I was like, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Never thought to ask, really. Didn't really care.
No, it's not something you ask your parents when you're 3 years old.
Yeah.
How come this is an avenue?
Stupid children. Okay. And then, so when my husband pisses me off, I'm going to start introducing him as, this is my first husband.
This
My
is Hailey.
first,
This
for
is
sure.
my first co-host.
Yeah, I attempted to walk out, but apparently that was too logistical nightmare. So, you know, whatevs.
That's right, you did too.
You're like, wait a second. If you walk
Ego
out,
and I were all set for it. And then we were like, I think we both realized at the same time, we're like, oh, hang on, if we end up doing it together, no one's going to edit.
oh going to get out at all. And then I think just in general, I'm going to start referring to middle-aged white men who own companies as boy bosses. They seem to think that girl boss is an appropriate term, so boss
Or
boss boy?
or penis with a job.
Boss boy? Real that condescending shit that they tend to
Yeah,
put
penis
on
with a job.
women. Anyway, that's my musing.
Lovely.
Yeah.
How was your week? What'd you do? Did you see? Where'd you go to?
Nah,
Okay.
nothing. Had nothing.
Okay.
Don't want to talk about it. I will talk about it next week because I'll have a definitive answer.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Mine was just a regular week, hey. Went into the office like 3 times.
Are you
Lived my
enjoying
life.
it?
The new job I
Yeah.
am.
It's good.
Because everything's new, because even though it's an established company, the section that I'm in is actually a startup.
Mhm.
And we had to wait for some stuff to go live. And so the position that I'm in technically doesn't kick off for just a little bit longer. So we were kind of just like, well, what do we do now? Then we started to give ourselves stuff to do. And then the first of our, I don't know, assignments, I guess you can call it, is starting on Monday. So we got the lowdown on it today, and we were all like looking at each other going, we didn't sign up for this. But yeah, no, it's good. People are great. I'm waiting for my first paycheck because it's going to be a bigger paycheck. The show that the missus and I were into watching every week has finished. Deadlock.
Yes, I watched. I binged the 6 episodes and then waited for the last 2, I think,
Yeah.
to find out who
Yeah.
the killer was.
Because we were 2 weeks ahead of you because we binged the first 4. Then you finally jumped on the train 2 weeks after. Yeah. So we're now looking for a new show. Doesn't have to be in the similar vein, but we kind of want a whodunit. And something that we can look forward to week after week. I mean, obviously, Only Murders in the Building starting soon.
How
So
soon is
that's
that?
going to August.
I wanted to introduce a new segment
Mhm.
called SMS.
SMS.
Steve Martin Short.
Because our time with Michael Douglas is coming to an end very soon. We are jumping on the good ship lollipop that is Martin Short, who I have had dealings with on 2 occasions now.
Mhm.
I commented to your lovely self and the very, very lovely Ego about, because we got Ego on into watching it as well. And I commented getting really excited that the season 3 is coming up. And because I commented, Martin Short liked it twice.
So I think leading up to Only Murders in the Building, that we can watch some Steve Martin Short movies that they're both in, which there's the 3 that come to mind, which is the Three Amigos, Father of the Bride 1 and Father of the Bride 2.
Mhm.
I'm sure there are others, but the Three Amigos is on Prime.
Yep.
I think we should do that for next week. I haven't seen it.
We've
And if
got, can I just interject? We've
you
got
wanna
one
do
more Michael
you
Douglas.
want to do that one, don't you?
I do,
You want to do that one.
because it's one of my favorite movies.
Okay, fine.
I watch it once every 2 months.
All right, we can retire on what's it called?
The American President.
Yeah, okay, we can retire on the American President. I will allow it. It is decided.
Thank
But
you.
then
And
following that, it will be the Three Amigos, and then anything that Steve Martin and Martin Short are in together.
Mhm. And there are a couple of Martin Short movies as well that we can watch, because he's done some great movies, actually.
Yeah, I agree. But I was just keeping in with the theme, and then I was like, "Oh, how about we do only murders in the building per episode? It's a whodunit. It's a each week we can talk about who we think who done she did it.
Mm-hmm. Done.
Pancreas. Let's do that before we move on.
Start
to
with
the
you.
movie.
Start with you.
Oh, my pancreas.
I know I've spoken about e-bikes. Have I
Mhm.
spoken about e-bikes? Yeah. Okay. Have I specifically spoken about the dickheads that don't wear helmets on e-bikes?
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to go one step further. The dickheads who do wear helmets, however, have their children strapped to the front of e-bikes.
Mm.
They've got these little carts that they makeshift wooden. There's one dude in particular that's local. Yeah, cute little kids. They're going to look fucking great splattered across the road when you crash into something. But they're in this like little cart, little wooden cart. I don't know how much protection you think that's going to provide. Very confusing that you think this is a safe way to transport children on the road.
They're protected by God's love.
God's not real, so that means no one loves them.
Some people believe that God is real.
Yeah, and some people believe that gay marriage shouldn't exist. That just means that people are morons.
Some people believe that if you hiccup and say, I am not a fish, it works. And it's both of us.
No, because I've disproved it. It does not work.
It's so funny because I had the hiccups the other day and I was doing I am not a fish and it wouldn't go away. It was fucking killing me. I'm
told
like,
you.
it's worked for the last couple of months.
No, I told you it stopped working. Maybe it's
Honeymoon
like,
period.
maybe we believe that we're actually fish. We don't actually believe that we're not fish.
Mm,
Anyway,
yeah.
yeah, I just don't. If you don't want to wear a helmet by yourself, that's fine. If you want to wear a helmet but then strap your children to the front of this death trap, like the hospital calls motorbikes donor bikes. You're probably more safer in a smart car.
But do the children have helmets on or just the parents?
The children have helmets on, but I just don't know how much that's going to do when they're sliding across asphalt.
No, it's stupid and it's wrong. Make it stop.
I think that they should ride on the path because, hear me out, I get the racing bikes have to ride on the road because they're stupid skinny tires. However, they should be paying registration fees.
Absolutely. We've talked about this.
Yep.
I will take this to my fucking grave. If I have to pay taxes to build your bike road
Mhm.
and I've got to pay my more registration because I just got my rego renewal stuff.
So I think that they should ride on the footpath. And my reasoning is if they hit a person, the less likely they're going to kill them or kill themselves hitting a
Mhm.
person. I've hit a person before on a bike. My bad. No one died. I got a little bit hurt because I tried to avoid it last minute. And yeah, no one died. But car versus bike, generally the car's going to win. Chances are I've also not been in it, but I was standing on the corner of a road and a car was pulling out and the bike slammed into the side. He's flown about 20 feet into the air. I think he lived, but, probably very seriously injured.
Let me ask you this.
Mhm.
You're walking along the street and we all know that bicycle riders do not give a flying fuck about anybody else on the road. They believe that they're the exceptions to every rule and they have their own little bike things and they come around blind corners all the fucking time. So a bike hits a person and the person breaks a limb, right? Why is there no bike insurance?
Either way.
Because what
think they
if
should
you
have it.
end up breaking a leg? This is what I'm saying. If you end up breaking a leg and you're in hospital, because you usually stay for a couple of days in hospital with a broken leg, and you may have to have surgery and you're off work.
Point is, I think there's less damage done on a footpath, and they tend to stick to the left, even though usually walkers are the problem because they're just like, oh, look over there. Oh, look over there. No, straight ahead, you dickhead.
Because that's what I hear when walkers walk past me. Oh, look over there. Look over there.
You never know. I don't fucking walk anywhere. I have a car like a normal person.
Oh, look over there. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that when we're walking through the fucking airport when we go down to Melbourne. Oh, look over there. Fucking dickhead.
Oh, what's the time? 7:10.
Oh, we're gonna be late for our plane. Quick, run. So basically what I got from all of that is almost anybody who rides a push bike can fuck right off.
Yes. You're right up there with like homophobes and racists. I hate you. Go away. I hate your
Pancreas
face.
burst. But the only reason why your pancreas is burst is because you got hit by somebody on a bike.
No, I hit them. I was the one on the bike. I was only a kid.
Bless.
Like,
I
could it-
remember once I was God, about 9, 10, something like that. And my mum was like, you can't go anywhere on your bike, you're in trouble, blah, 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 blah. But I was still allowed to go like down the reserve that was down the end of the road. And you could spend hours there. And it was back in the days where you didn't have to worry about murder and rape and all of this other stuff.
Oh, you did, but no one knew about it because social media didn't exist.
Yeah, but shit didn't happen in fucking Mount Pritchard. We always told each other the stories of the dirty old man that was in the public toilets, but we still went down there. There was no one there, you know. But I was about 9 or 10, and my mum said to me, you know, you're not allowed to ride your bike any further than blah blah blah. And because I was in trouble, like I always was. And I don't know what happened. I think I was with like the kids in my street or whatever it was, and there were a couple of older kids. And they were like, oh, come on, we'll go for a bike ride. And I'm like, oh, I'm not allowed, I'm in trouble. And they're like, like your mum's going to know. And I'm like, yeah. So we rode our bikes from Mount Pritchard to Liverpool, which is actually quite a hike, right? But if you cut through reserves and stuff, it was almost half the time. So we went there, we went to some chip shop, got some chips. We were riding back. And as we were riding back, I had a bike that had no brakes.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm riding down the footpath to head like back home, this car comes out of a is it a nursing home? I think it was. Yeah, a nursing home. And because I technically didn't have any brakes because my foot was the brake. I ran into the side of the car, and when I fell off the bike, I still have a little tiny scar of it. The bike handle, because I took the rubber things off because they weren't cool at the time, actually dug into my stomach. So when I got home, my stomach was bleeding, and Mum's like, what did you do to your stomach? I'm like, I fell over. So here you go, Gloria. That little thing that I had on my stomach was because I went against you and rode my bike all the way to Liverpool from Mount Pritchard instead of just going down the reserve.
See
like I
that,
was
kids?
supposed to.
When your parents say not to do something.
I mean, like you couldn't do it at this day and age because you probably would get murdered or raped along the way. But, you know, back in the early 1800s, it wasn't a problem. So bicycle riders can fuck off. That's your pancreas, right?
Yeah, just in general, really. Like I think I've covered all aspects of bicycle riders. No helmets, but with children, e-bikes. Yeah, I've covered all the bikes, all motorbikes, all the bikes.
And then they've got all these fucking road rules that if you go within like a meter or whatever it is of cyclists, you can be fined. Well, how about they just fuck off?
Mm-hmm.
they swerve in front of you and they do all of it. They've got no regard for just about everything on the road can kill them.
And they
But
travel
they've got no
like next to each other, having a little chat. Oh, look at that.
every Saturday and Sunday morning. I can tell you without fail, this happens at 8:00 in the morning. Sometimes I go out for a cigarette if I'm awake that early, right? And where I have the cigarette looks down on the main road, and you can see them going along Military Road 3 abreast.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like 15, 16 of them in the group. Like they take up an entire lane and a half on a 3-lane road.
Invest in like a BB gun or a paintball gun.
I was just going, and you know what the worst part is? They fucking talk loud when they're cycling.
What is it? And they're like, oh, look over there.
Oh, look over there. Over there. No, you can hear them. You can actually hear them coming from a couple of 100 meters down the road. And because they talked out loud. And then when they come past you, if they, sorry, if they were 10 meters closer, they would wake people up with the amount of noise that they make when they're cycling past, talking to each other.
You should flick their cigarette. That lycra would light up so fucking fast.
I know, I should.
Cigarette
But then I
on.
don't like the smell of burning rubber because the bike will go up too.
Choices.
But you know what? That's another Cass's problem. One day I may do it just for shits and giggles. My pancreas is plain and simple. Plain and simple. Okay. We who care noticed a couple of weeks ago that Allen's, I think it is, have decided to cease the production of fantails. This makes me unhappy. It is. And here is why. So that's one childhood memory gone. The funny thing was, a couple of weeks earlier, my wife bought a big bag of fantails. We haven't eaten them for years. And she walked past a kilo bag and went, fuck it, I'm going to buy it. So we've still got quite a lot of fantails left, actually. But I'm getting sick and tired of these companies deciding what we can and can't eat. I will preface it by saying I do understand that if a product doesn't sell, and they need to cut down costs, and I get that. How about you just make it in a smaller,
make it less. Make less of them.
Yeah, make less of them. Make them limited edition. Charge more.
No, don't tell them to charge more. We don't need more inflation. Don't you encourage that inflation?
It's okay. No one listens to this podcast anyway, so it's fine.
I do.
I do, and I watch it for quality purposes. So this, I'm getting sick and tired of these companies doing things like this. When I was a kid growing up, and when people who are my age and older were growing up, there was something called a polywaffle. You people may know it. You younger people may know it. It was a chocolate wrapped around a wafer, wrapped around marshmallow. It was amazing to eat. They got rid of it. Didn't bother to tell us they were getting rid of it. Just one day, all the polywaffles were gone. And then an Adelaide company said, just before the pandemic, we're actually going to bring them back. We're going to bring them back, not whoever owned them before. Mm-hmm. They still haven't done it. I want my polywaffles back, and I don't want them to end fantails. They already got rid of the green frogs, which is fine, but sometimes you want a green frog, you know?
No.
I mean, the red frogs are always going to be good. We actually did find out that Woolworths do the big red frogs now instead of the little ones. So the little ones are good. Don't get me wrong. And I understand that I am saying all of this as a bariatric surgery person, but sometimes you just want a little bit of sweet. They've got to stop. Stop doing it. They made Golden Ruffs smaller and thinner. They did the same thing with mint patties. They make things smaller to cut costs, but charge you the same amount.
And keep the packaging
as if it was
the
bigger.
same size as well.
Exactly. So the peanut brittle covered chocolate thing, I can't remember off the top of my head. They've just come back. So I bought one. I bought two. One for me, one for the wife. And I noticed the packaging. Scorched peanut, I think they're called peanut scorch peanut. Anyway, so they've come back after years off, and they came back maybe 18 months ago. But I got one, and then when I went to take it out of the shopping bag, I was like, oh, I better not, because your warm hands melt the chocolate and stuff. So I grabbed it on the edge, and then when I actually pulled it out of the bag, I realized it was like 3 centimeters down from the edge, and I still hadn't hit the chocolate bar. But so I'm getting sick and tired of all of these companies deciding what we can and can't have. One of the best things to eat when I was growing up was a space food stick. They just disappeared.
I don't know what that is.
Well, no, because, I'm slightly older. But, they got rid of Tab, which was like a diet version of Coke from the 70s and early 80s. They're getting rid of all of these things in the interest, not in my best interest to get rid of it. It's not in half of the people who have been complaining online about the fantails, and there's actually a Polywaffle page. I'm getting really, really sick of them ceasing production on things just for the sake of doing it. Like, you're telling me in this day and age they can't just like flip a program and then all of a sudden it starts spitting out Polywaffles instead. Like, stop it. Stop it. Lolly chip food producing companies, stop doing it. I'm done. Because now it makes me not want to eat anything from Allen's, but I like Red Frogs and I like their killer pythons are smaller.
Yeah, they are. They're not killer pythons. They're like
They're
baby
not.
pythons. They're like carpet pythons. They don't scare me.
My nose and more stuff comes out into my fucking tissue than what's in a bloody killer python packet.
Yeah, the killer pythons used to be huge.
They get rid of Sherbies. They've got rid of barley sugar. They got rid of the barley sugars.
You can get rid of cherry ripes and Turkish delights, so not a fan.
No. Do not touch the Turkish delight.
Take them.
No, but what they can do. So in about 2000, 2001, the makers of cherry ripe actually had a milk chocolate version.
Mm-hmm.
And they were phenomenal. And we thought they were going to stay, and they didn't. They took it back to the dark chocolate. I understand that dark chocolate and cherry do go together. And I have on occasion eaten a cherry ripe. But if anybody touches the Turkish delight, I will start banging on doors and I will start formally protesting online. Do not touch the Turkish delight.
They should make their favorites. They should make them like an unfavorites and then just put all the shit ones that no one likes and put them in that one. Turkish delight.
See, that would make me happy because I bet you everything that you think is bad is something that I think is good. But they need to also bring back the milk cherry ripe, the milk chocolate cherry ripe.
Yeah.
They were good too.
And what is it, that Bounty? That with the coconut?
Bounties are great.
Nah, fuck them off.
You know what I had the other week? Took me a long time to eat it because it's quite cumbersome to eat, is the Morrow.
Yeah, it's kind of like Mars bar, I think. Isn't it like a cheaper version of Mars bar?
Yeah, I think it's Cadbury's version of Mars bar.
Yeah.
But to all of these food confectionery companies, stop fucking ceasing production. Because you never see you don't see them getting rid of like fucking what are the caramel with the vanilla thing in the middle, caramel things.
Because they're delicious.
In my head a second. Columbines or whatever they're called. Like, they don't get rid of those things. They get rid of the fucking good stuff. Don't touch the fantails. There is going to be a whole lot of dentists who are going to be out of business when fantails cease. They could have got rid of the minties and kept the fantails.
I love a minty.
The best part about fantails is the trivia on the packaging.
Yeah, I agree. I love a minty because I feel like I'm being healthy because my teeth are all minty fresh. But
dentists are forever grateful to the manufacturers of minties and fantails because many people have lost their tooth like eating those. I remember when I was younger, and it was back in the days where you lost teeth, like 8 or 9, I was eating a minty and a tooth came out, but it was one that was supposed to come out. So it was okay. But there's nothing more disconcerting than you go to bite down on like your second or third chomp and you're like, why is this hard? And then you take it out and the
It's a
minty is
full
just
tooth.
your tooth in it, but it's covered in blood as well. It turns you off minties for a little while, but then you end up going back onto them. What did I have a few weeks ago? I had a peppermint crisp. Those things cut your mouth, but fuck, they're good.
No, I'm not. I'm not a huge peppermint person, so I don't tend to buy things that taste like peppermint.
What the hell is the matter with you?
Wagon wheels, are they still a thing?
Yes, they are. I was just about to mention wagon wheels because we got those a few weeks ago too, and I finally finished because I have like one. You can still get the proper size wagon wheels, and you can get the minis with the 8 in a pack, and they were on special a few weeks back. That's why we got it for like $2.50.
Right. Because I don't mind them. It's not when it comes to like the chocolate hierarchy, that's not my number one pick. But I wouldn't mind a little marshmallow every now and again.
See, I'm the same. My wife doesn't like marshmallow. One of my favorite things from Costco was the big plastic container with the marshmallow with the toasted coconut on it.
Oh, see, I'm not a huge fan of coconut. I just like s'mores. Anyway,
Pancreas bursted.
so we're going to move on to Wall Street because that's the movie that we watched this week with Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas.
Bit tainted. So,
Wall Street.
I know from Just Jack, they watched it. They did their homework. It did not capture their attention. However, on the other hand, Wall Street, okay, so it's about the stock market. I have no idea about the stock market. Absolutely not. I have watched 7 seasons of Billions. I have watched many, many movies on the stock market. Still couldn't tell you what anything. They buy stocks, they sell high. They buy high, they buy low, they sell high. Whatever it is. Still couldn't tell you how it works. Don't care. Don't want to explain to me. So it's about the stock market. Wall Street in the 80s.
1987.
Bud Fox.
Directed by Oliver Stone.
I don't know. Bud Fox, a young Charlie Sheen. He's a bit all right.
He is a cutie, isn't he?
So cute.
Shame he turned into what he turned into, but yeah.
Well, he's a stockbroker, full of ambition, doing whatever he can to make his way to the top. And of course, he admires Sir Gordon Gekko.
Played by
Mr. Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas.
And then, so from what I gather, insider trading is like, okay, so for instance,
Not good.
this guy who owns a company is going to be like, I'm going to sell the company to somebody, and then they're going to run it into the ground. So he tells someone that he's going to do that, so they know
To
and
sell
then
the
sell the
shares.
stock. So is that insider trading?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. That's kind of the gist of it. I'm sure there's many more other logistical things.
Well, so the other example would be, right, I own a company and I tell you that I'm about to sell my company, right? So you buy all the stock that you can. So what usually happens is if a company gets sold and mergers happen, the stock price of my company would go up. So I'm telling you before I've made the deal that I will be selling to company X. So you buy, say my shares are $2 a share, right? So you spend $100,000 on them. You get $100,000 worth of shares. I sell the company. My company stock rises. So at $2 a share, and say it goes up to $10 a share. So your $100,000 will be times 5.
And what if if I accidentally found out? Is that still insider trading?
They'd have to. I think the onus would be on you to prove that you found out accidentally.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, like billions
But
with.
that's why, that's
Yeah.
why Martha Stewart went to jail,
But she went to jail for stealing.
insider trading.
Oh. Yeah, Billions like is a very stock market based show, and they go through stock market like crazy. Still have no idea. Absolutely no idea what any of it means. They need to explain it a bit more. But anyway, so he basically gets Bud to insider trade.
So what happens is that, as we know, Bud's hero is Gordon Gekko.
Mhm.
Bud wants to work with Gordon. So I think he like calls him for like 59 days in a row.
Yes, yes.
And then what he does is he turns up on Gordon Gekko's birthday with a box of Cuban cigars.
Mhm.
Right? And Gordon Gekko goes,
You're
on you for
persistent.
trying. Yeah. So he finds out information from his father about an airline company that his father works for and tells Gekko some stuff. Gekko jumps onto the bandwagon, makes some money. So that's where the insider trading part comes in.
Right.
Right. And then something else happens with the stock. I didn't tune out, but something distracted me for a little while. And it's been a long time since I watched it before then. And then so I'm just trying to remember how it goes. Gecko's like, yeah, you can work for me. We'll work together. And then so Bud starts making Gekko some money. And then something about the airline company, and Gekko wants to buy.
Bud's dad works for
Yeah.
the airline
Yeah.
company. So whatever happens is going to affect Bud's dad. So I think
Yeah.
Bud has a little turn of conscience and is like, well, I'm not going to screw my dad.
Yeah,
so
because
then
he finds out that if Gekko buys the company, he's basically going to get rid of it.
Yeah, he's going to destroy the company. I just find when he has sex with that odd looking lady, very, very odd looking lady. And he's like outside on the balcony. He's like, who am I? What? Yeah, fucking pansy. And then Dr. Cox is in it from Scrubs, super young, and James Spade. Like the amount of actors that are in this, the stock market stuff, a little bit boring, but I actually enjoyed the movie.
Mhm.
I actually really enjoyed when Bud gets arrested and he's like as he gets walked out. I'm like, really? You're gonna cry? Like, hold it together until you get out, and then you're gonna go to jail for insider trading, which it probably wouldn't have been that long anyway. Maybe 10 years, maybe 5.
Depends on the amount.
Yeah, it depends on the amount. But yeah, he was like, bye. And he says bye to his, like some Alice, I don't know, whatever her name was. Bye, Alice.
But so this was the movie that Michael Douglas won the Academy Award for.
You what?
He won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor.
Right, okay.
For Gordon Gekko.
I actually want to watch the second one. I'm not gonna lie.
God, what was it called? Money Never Sleeps or something?
Yeah, something like that. I'm gonna watch it. I'm
because Gekko gets out of jail.
Bud.
In the second one.
Is Gekko in jail?
Bud gets out of jail.
Right. Okay. I was gonna say, well, someone has to get out of jail.
Yeah. So with this movie, the famous line is when Michael Douglas is giving that speech and he goes, greed, for lack of a better word, is good. Everybody quotes it at some point in time, but I remember reading an article ages ago. Even to this day, people who bump into Charlie Sheen and or Michael Douglas all say the same thing. I wanted to be a stockbroker after watching that movie, and they're stockbrokers.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't surprise me. I just can't. No, Charlie Sheen walking out crying with.
So, roasting or toasting?
I'm gonna toast.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give it 2.5 toasts.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a good movie. Stock market, whatever. But
Yeah.
other than that, I'm gonna watch the second one.
Cool.
And
And then, of
probably
course, we
actually
know that
watch this one again. But
the
anyway,
next movie is going to be The American President.
yes, our last Michael Douglas movie.
Before we move on to SMS.
SMS.
And we will we have loved our time with Michael Douglas.
Mhm.
We will continue to stalk him on the Insta so he can get us recognition. He
Mhm.
needs to recognize us. We will still continue to do that, but we are welcoming into the fold and into our hearts Martin Short. So Wall Street is done.
Yes.
We need to move on to RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars Season 8. I am going to start this by saying, gee, the episode made me happy. It made me happy.
I'm in two minds about it. One, it gave me PTSD from season 15.
Oh, because they were all there.
Yeah.
and it's going on forever.
It's going on forever and ever
Yeah.
and ever. This should have been episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
I would have liked to see the variety show then.
Mhm.
Alexis Michelle, the amount of apologies that have been done. I feel like she's Perez Hilton trying to get back on TikTok. Like, shut up.
Now, remind me, was it Mrs. Kasha Davis who described the bald patch
Laptop helicopter.
as the helipad?
Helicopter landing pad. That was the best call ever on because everyone was like, yep.
And everyone knew what she was talking about too. There was no one going, oh, like everyone knew. So yeah, they all came back. This is a Fame Games episode.
Mhm.
They all came back and they did the reading challenge, which, you know what? Until it was pointed out, I didn't realize it hadn't happened.
Yeah, but I don't ever expect All Stars to follow the normal format. So I know that they always have the reading challenge, but maybe like RuPaul, like, she's getting a bit up there. Maybe she just forgot. And then she was like, oh, well, when we bring it back, we should do that.
Yeah. Or actually, when you were saying that, I probably thought like people are like, maybe we shouldn't do the reading challenge anymore because it hasn't been funny lately. But this one, there was not a bad one. I mean, oh God, Alexis Michelle, turn off the fucking fake bullshit voice while you're doing it, and you probably would have been funny. But everybody else was funny.
Thirsty, I felt like this, Michelle. Like, we get it. You want to bang most of the cast.
Oh, well, I mean, could Alexis Michelle's tongue hit the ground any more as soon as she fucking copped eyes on Lala Ree? Like, fuck. If I was Lala Ree, I'd be steering so clear of that bitch because, like, she's nothing but trouble. And then that fucking apology thing between. Anyway, the reading challenge was great. Mrs. Kasha Davis deserved the win. Just for the helipad comment alone.
Yep, I agree.
But she was actually quite funny the whole way through. And then, so they did the variety show. There really wasn't anybody bad. I mean, I wasn't overly fussed with Candy Muse. I have not laughed so much in an episode in my life than watching Jimbo's.
I agree. She's the only one that made me laugh during the reading challenge and also on stage as Candy Muse. She was spot on.
Oh, yeah.
And Kahana Montrese, cheerleader vibes. She did one flip.
And they thought it was the greatest thing since sliced bread.
I'm like, if she was a cheerleader, like she said I was a cheerleader. I'm like, why don't you have a whole carpet? Why are you doing some backhand tuck? Yeah, I know. I watched Bring It On.
Yeah. Jimbo's making of a banana split. I laughed out loud. The dogs wondered what was going on when I just like burst into laughter. As soon as I realized what was happening, I just laughed the whole way through. It was fucking great.
I honestly don't think James Mansfield and Lala Ree should have won. I know that you like James Mansfield.
And I like Lala Ree. So I was happy.
Okay, so it was more the fact that they were both robbed during the season.
Yes.
They were both kicked out when they shouldn't
And
have been.
I think it was RuPaul's way of going, I'll give it to you.
That's why I was like, you know what? I don't think their talents were the greatest. I think that Mrs. Kasha Davis should have won at least one of the spots.
She was great, right?
And then James Mansfield, I'm sorry, you're lip syncing up against Lala Ree. God love her though, she does try to dance. She does. But she didn't win that lip sync. Lala Ree won that lip sync.
Yeah. So the twist was that whoever won got to spin a wheel. And if you, depending on what number came up, was a multiplier of what the votes are going to be from the viewers. So there was 2 times, 3 times, or 5 times. So if so whoever had won the lip sync, we found out they both won. They got to spin the wheel, and whatever their votes are, whatever they spun on the wheel, it was going to be times that amount. So you needed to be in the top 2 to give yourself a decent edge. Out of the 2, so James spun 2 times and Lala Ree spun 3 times, as in 3 times the amount of votes. The thing is, though, it kind of negates the whole runway and showing what their looks are going to be if this can be the determining factor, because I don't think Lala Ree was as good as James Mansfield's outfits throughout the whole thing.
No, I agree.
The only way anybody else now is going to win is if everybody votes for somebody who isn't James Mansfield or thing, because they've already got the edge.
I'm voting for Kasha, I believe.
I voted already.
How do you vote?
So at the end of the episode, there's a QR code.
Oh, okay.
Scan the QR code. You've got to sign in, and then you can register your vote.
Okay. I'll do that.
Yeah. So I voted. And I'm happy with my choice.
Who you vote for?
I voted for Mrs. Kasha Davis.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not an election.
Yeah, I know, but I've got no problem telling you who I vote for in an election. I don't know what I was thinking.
I was like, what? You can tell me it's not going to not come true. Yeah, no, I'm probably going to vote for Mrs. Kasha Davis.
Yeah, love her. Love her. And as far as I'm concerned, that Alexis Michelle joke about the bald patch.
That one and Darien Swamp, I thought was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think Lala Ree, Darien Swamp. Oh, I can't remember now. I only just watched it, but I still can't remember who said it.
I know there was a lot going on, but the episode actually made me really happy. And I think part of the reason why was there was no bitching.
Mm-hmm.
There was...
Oh, except Jimbo talking about her 4-hour flight. If you're not in an aisle or a window, it's very uncomfortable.
Oh my God, I laughed so much because she's like, bitch, what are you talking about? It's a 2-hour flight. She goes, it's a 4-hour flight. And if you're not near a window, it's like, yeah, that was, I had to come here from another country. And she's like, bitch, what are you talking about? It's a 2-hour flight. that was cute. And Jimbo's cute. Yeah, it just made me happy. There was really no bitching toward or at each other. There was a chance for them just to kind of relax. So the competitive side was out. It was interesting, like the competitive thing from the queens that had left. They were just mucking around and laughing and joking and carrying on and doing whatever it was. It was actually, and I think that's most of the reason why I enjoyed it. There was no tension, no bullshit, no bitching, no anything like that. And it was just a variety show and a reading challenge and some fun.
Yeah.
I toast it. Yeah, with 4 slices of toast. Yeah. So next week is the final.
Which I thought this week was the final, but apparently not.
Same, because RuPaul's fucking edging us like she does Shangela. Okay, the local drag shows for Sydney and Melbourne. In Sydney, Thursdays from 7 p.m, we have Drag Bingo with Tina Bicky and Dionysus at the Imperial. Thursdays from 10 p.m, Intergalactic with Space Horse, Eli Crawford and Tina Bicky. Friday, the 21st of July, the Vanities Dream Club tour at Universal, which will be just in time for the Barbie premiere, which is why we're in the pink. Oh, that didn't sound right. Which is why
And
we're wearing
then-
pink.
And then we stink. Go on.
Uh-huh. Fridays, 12:30 and 1:30 a.m. Boss with Pamara Biff at Arc. Saturdays, 8 and 9 Slayer on Saturdays with Maxi Shield and Gabe Woods at the Oxford. Sundays, Shine with Coco Jumbo. I still keep forgetting to put that down. Thursdays from 7:30 p.m. Drag Trivia with Jackie Daniels at Kinsella's. And for the Melbourne shows, we have Thursday from 9 p.m. Hey Henny at Circuit with a rotating cast. Fridays from 7:30 p.m. Drag Race All-Star screenings at Molly's Bar and Diner. Bet they didn't realize that they were going on for an extra week. Fuck you, RuPaul. Wednesdays, Drag Bingo at Molly's Bar and Diner with Isis Avis Lauren, Jemima Handful, and Miss J. Wednesdays, new gigs on the block hosted by Holiday Night at Circuit with a cycle of 3 superstars, Aboleth Adams, Ruby Princess, and Jaja Lugosi. We just want to thank everybody for listening to us on podcasting platforms and watching us on the YouTubes. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe and the little bell dinging for the notification. And what else is there in life, Hailey? What do you want to do? What do you want to talk about?
Nothing.
You got any parting messages?
No.
No?
Don't get pregnant. Stay safe.
And don't forget to go see the Barbie movie. Don't put any spoilers in. I'm not too sure when I'm going to see it.
Me either.
But I know, and I know a little bit more about the plot line than you do.
Yes, so don't tell me. I don't want to know. I've avoided it till now, so.
Yeah. I would like to point out to the guy, can't remember his name, who put a comment. I got very excited when I saw there was a comment on the YouTube until the racist fuck comes up with, what the fuck are those flags at the beginning all about? Dude, they are the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander flags. How about you actually pay attention to the opening? Because A, it's spoken by my wife, but B, it kind of explains it. Fuck. Dickhead. Jesus Christ. If you haven't got anything constructive to say, don't say anything. I thought about responding, but I went, you know what? I don't want to tarnish anything, so I just removed the comment. I can do that. I got the power.
You can.
But thank you, everybody, for watching and listening, and we'll see you all again next week with our review of The American President with Michael Douglas, and also our review of, hopefully, the finale of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars. And we will see you and talk to you next week. Bye-bye. Mwah. Ba, 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 ba.